action.
Car
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
NBA free agents can start negotiating tonight after midnight Eastern. The Philadelphia Eagles waived wide receiver Dorial Green-Beckham. Venus Williams will play Wimbledon despite this month's car crash, which was in the state of Florida, and that led to the death of a passenger in the other car. Wimbledon starts Monday. NASCAR's Xfinity races tonight at Daytona. The 400 Saturday night, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has earned the pole. I'm Steve DeSager.
It's time for Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan.
Ready, set,
just call me Swanee.
Tigers time. Tigers time.
Finally, Clemson Sports Talk has come back to Columbia. Hello, everybody. Lawton Swan back at it once again here, 316 Greystone Boulevard. Fast-paced, action-packed, hurry up and no huddle sports talk program at Fox Sports Radio 1400 in the Midlands. Heard around the world on the iHeart radio application. Download it today. It's free. The Clemson Sports Talk app also free, and we appreciate you hanging out with us here each and every day. Lowell the intern, not in the building. Big Mace, who just turned 8 yesterday, in the building. He's hanging out with me here in the studio, so I've got somebody here if things go wrong for me behind the microphone. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Zach Lentz, just a few minutes ago, if you are a member of our Slack community, which sounds like a weird thing, but it's actually a great way for you to communicate and chat during the show. It's a great way for you to communicate and chat outside of the show anytime you want. It is, I think, the future of online communications for like-minded people who want to talk about a subject. I think that a Slack community gives you an incredible venue to do that, both live and at your leisure. Basically in channels, and you can join. Go over to ClemsonSportsTalk.com, click join the conversation, and that'll get you all squared away to join us. Well, Zach's going to be doing Friday mailbags for us moving forward, and he did his first one today. I thought it looked great. I thought he did great, and it's one of those things we really want to test out. Of course, we mentioned to you here on the program, I guess a couple of days ago, the hashtag CS Takeover is underway. The new website's coming. But we are really trying to engage with you all in many different ways as well. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832 is the number. The hashtag on Twitter is CST Show. You can follow the program at Clemson Sports. So we've got a lot to get into here tonight. Of course, the opening going on out in Oregon. And you know my man Michael Felder's got it covered like a blanket. Well, so much so, and with the time differential, we were unable to work out a time to get him on. But Michael Felder from the Bleacher Report, at In the Bleachers on social media, on Twitter at least, he came to me. He said, look, Swanee, when I get back to North Carolina, we're going in. We're going to dive in. I'm going to give you all the information that you need to know about the guys who are out at the opening, including, I think, the most prized possession for the Clemson Tigers in recent memory in terms of recruiting outside of Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, who was out there and apparently still doing incredible things. So typically here on the Friday edition via the DNC Trucking and Transport guest line, we'd have somebody like Michael Felder on the ground in Oregon. Instead, we will push that back just a little bit and then get up with Michael down the road. Now, again, here on the program yesterday, we talked a lot of wrestling. I hope you all enjoyed that. If you missed any of it, you can check out the podcast editions. Of course, we were talking a lot of Palmetto Championship Wrestling, which is hosted here in the Midlands of South Carolina, and we had a lot of fun with Shane Dorr in studio with us talking about what those guys are doing here in the Midlands, and they've got an event over at the Vive Church on July the 7th, so you could check that out here in the Midlands, and they're trying to do monthly events, which are fantastic, and looking forward to getting over there and maybe taking my son Mason with me on July the 7th, if we do return, in fact, from our vacation early enough to take care of that. But in terms of the local news here in the Midlands today, and we told you this yesterday, Mark Kingston was indeed announced as the new head baseball coach here in the Midlands for the South Carolina Gamecocks, following up as Chad Holbrook was dismissed and relieved of his services from his former I guess, head coach and boss, and still boss. I know it's a little different dynamic when he's the coach and you're an assistant versus he's the athletic director and you're the coach. But now the Gamecocks have their man as projected, and as we talked about here on the program, Mark Kingston from South Florida making his way up. And according to my good buddy Rob Sanders, apparently one of the things that was mentioned, and I haven't double-checked this, if you know, and you can hit us up on social media at Clemson Sports, or again, come into our Slack channel, go to ClemsonSportsTalk.com and click Join the Conversation, and let me know. It was that apparently he was told by Ray Tanner that, one of the things that his main role was to beat Clemson, was to beat the Clemson Tigers. So that's what I was told. I haven't verified that, but if indeed that is the case, you know what, I like it. I like it for the rivalry. I definitely thought, and again, when the news kind of came out yesterday that Monty Lee, people were saying, it could be Monty Lee, it could be Monty Lee. And, I put in all I went through all the right channels to find out that was not going to be the case for you, and we tried to keep you updated over on social media with that fact as soon as I knew that wasn't going to be the case, and that if it were the case, it was going to be a tremendous surprise to everybody involved. I put that out for you. But ultimately, for Monty Lee, and I had a chance this morning to be on with my good friend Jamie Bradford down in Charleston and talk about this exact same thing. Monty Lee is in a great situation here in the state of South Carolina. He's not really hated by all of South Carolina fans, as a matter of fact, because of what he was able to do for that program. And I think, too, kind of the way he carries himself. South Carolina fans, I think, don't mind Monty Lee. And I think a lot of them probably actually like Monty Lee. And had he made a switch like that from Clemson to South Carolina, he becomes enemy number one for half of this state. For all the Tiger fans, he would have instantly become enemy number one. And why do that to yourself? If you are at Wofford, if you're at Furman, if you are out of state, maybe this is a move you would make. But not in state, not when you're at Clemson, not when you're in a situation that is equally as good in terms of opportunities to host regionals, super regionals, and ultimately get to the College World Series. Now, the one difference being South Carolina, you guys have scaled that mountain. You've hit the precipice. You've been at the top. You've got the championship. Clemson still is wanting in that regard. The College World Series title has eluded Clemson on several occasions. One in particular, thank you to the Gamecock Nation for sure. But in terms of Clemson baseball and where they are versus where South Carolina is, both programs clearly on par with one another. So nationally recognized, these two brands. It's part of the reason that these two play in what I believe is the single greatest college baseball rivalry in America. I don't think there's anything that surpasses it. It is, in my opinion, the Auburn, Alabama of college baseball. I don't know much about Mark Kingston, but I do know this. He will be afforded a better opportunity for South Carolina than Chad Holbrook was, simply because of the distance between him and the man that brought the titles in Ray Tanner. That is an unfortunate circumstance that the next man at Alabama will face. Arguably the next man at Ohio State will face. Florida State, perhaps, with Jimbo Fisher there, and even Clemson with Dabo Swinney. At some point, there's going to be the next man up. And when you follow a guy that's put the ultimate title into the trophy case, it is hard for people to give you any leeway when you do not have success at the highest level. Should South Carolina have changed coaches? I believe they should have. As a matter of fact, I don't know that Chad Holbrook was ever really the right fit for South Carolina. I don't know that Chad Holbrook was ever going to be successful the way South Carolina wants a coach to be successful here. But I do know this. Mark Kingston may not be any of those things either, but he's got a buffer between himself and what I guess many would say is the greatest head coach in the history of South Carolina men's baseball. And that's saying a lot because June Raines was an incredible coach here in the Midlands for many, many years. But when you scale that mountain the way Ray Tanner did, without a buffer between you and the coach that brought home the titles, there is very little room for error. 803-978-1832 is the number. 803-978-1832. The hashtag on Twitter, CST Show. You can follow the program at Clemson Sports. That's Clemson news, notes, information, and more 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The NFL.com put together a list of the 17 for 17 for the year 2017 of college football's most freakish athletes. And you listen to this program enough, you know your boy Swanee on Twitter at Clemson Sports loves some lists. And this time of year, I don't even have to dig all that hard to find them. They just kind of flow to me. They're out there. Well, if you come across a great list, hit your boy up. I'd love to hear from you in terms of great lists that you find along the way. And by the way, I believe Phil Steele's magazine just came out. I've been talking about this vacation that we're going to be going on. Yeah, I'm going to probably be doing a good bit of reading on the vacation, highlighting, circling, doing work. Because Phil Steele's magazine is so chock full of incredible information that you can lock in on it from cover to cover. And by the time you finish, I think the college football season will be here. I mean, that's how busy this magazine is. It's got, if you've never seen it, what Phil Steele has managed to do is he's almost come up with a code. He's almost come up with a system. So, for example, in conversational moments, we might talk about run-pass options. Other people might call it an RPO. In Phil Steele's magazine, anytime he can use an acronym, HQT, like a high-quality talent, he'll use it. He uses the, and so you're reading this thing, and it's almost like you've got to have, you know the great movie A Christmas Story, and Ralphie's up in the bathroom with his little orphan Annie Dakota ring, and, oh, drink more Ovaltine? It's a crummy commercial? That's kind of like Phil Steele's magazine. You almost need this other decoder page with you so you can go through it. But once you pick up the lingo, and it typically takes me a couple of teams and looking back and reviewing what everything means, but then you're good. Then it's like picking up a foreign language. But I'll be into that real soon. So that's probably got some lists that I can get into as well. But looking at the top 17 players or the most freakishly gifted athletes in college football in 2017, number one on the list, wears number 42 for your Clemson Tigers at 310 pounds. He'll represent Clemson at the ACC kickoff coming up in a couple of weeks up in Charlotte. They go on to say that Christian Wilkins' athleticism is difficult to fathom. He's been clocked at 4.8 in the 40 with a 10-yard split time of 1.62. They call that ridiculously fast for a player of his size, and he has plenty of strength to go with it. He can bench press 225 pounds for 31 reps. 225 for 31 reps. He said they also go on to say you want explosiveness. He can broad jump 9 feet, and then there's this flexibility which he put on display after Clemson's national championship win over Alabama. Freakish athlete number one of the top 17 freakishly gifted athletes in 2017, according to the NFL, is Christian Wilkins, which is one of the reasons that he is tabbed by a lot of people to be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft this coming season, coming out a year early. You also could say that might be a reason that Dabo Swinney tabbed Christian Wilkins as a spokesperson for the Clemson Tigers at ACC Media Days, because that has typically been reserved for players who were seniors. Now, in this circumstance with Christian Wilkins, I think he has become the face defensively for this team. You might even be able to argue at this point he could be the face of the team. If you think about it, when you lose Ben Boulware, when you lose Deshaun Watson, when you lose Wayne Gallman and Mike Williams, and you start moving further and further down the line of guys who were faces of the program, guys who got substantial mic time, and individuals who can talk, I don't know that there's a better player right now to represent Clemson than Christian Wilkins. The one thing you do know if you're Dabo Swinney, and the only concern that you might have about Big CW being the guy that gets that microphone put in front of him, is he's going to be open, he's going to be honest, he's going to be candid, he's going to tell you exactly what he's feeling. There's not much of a buffer that you can place on Christian Wilkins. And I'm not saying that he's a bad kid by any means, or that he's going to fly off the cuff and drop some four-letter words that might make a coach shudder. But he's not somebody who is necessarily going to be willing to hold back when there is truth to be told. And I like that about him. I like that about Christian Wilkins. And I also think the fact that he's sitting there at number one on this list speaks volumes about what Clemson's evaluations were of him coming out of high school and all the other schools that believed in him, because when I watched the film, I would not tell you that I thought Christian Wilkins was going to be the player that he is today. I would have never told you that in a million years watching the film, because Christian looked like a monster on the field playing against a bunch of children. He looked like he was playing high school football against elementary school kids. He was that much bigger than everybody else. And I thought, man, this could be one of those cases where the video is deceptive simply because of how of the competition level that this young man's playing. But Clemson had him circled and starred, and they knew that if they got Wilkins, they could win a title. And they got him, and they did, and they played for one in his freshman year, and they won one this past season. Number 2 on that list, a very familiar name, and a young man who came down to Clemson in Michigan. Again, you talk about talent acquisition and evaluation. Rashawn Gary, the defensive end at Michigan, listed as the number 2 most freakishly gifted athlete in college football in 2017. Number 3, you Clemson Tiger fans, you'll get him up close and personal. He is the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, Lamar Jackson, up at Louisville, quarterback. He comes in at number 3. Vita Vea, the defensive tackle from Washington, who is a tremendous football player, another athletic man at 340 pounds who can get up and down, also has the ability to move well in space, comes in at number 4. And number 5, another guy, you didn't get to see him last year because of injury, but maybe the most versatile defender in America, Derwin James, the safety for Florida State. He's described by defensive back Nate Andrews at Florida State as a, quote, freak of nature. Number 6 is Saquon Barkley, the running back over at Penn State. Tied a school record with a 390-pound power clean last season. This young man is not only powerful, he's fast, he'll run you over, he'll run around you. He can do it all. Number 7 on that list is Darius Anderson, the running back at TCU. Smaller, thin guy, but very, very elusive in the open field. You got to look out for him anytime he's got the ball in his hands in space. Number 8 is Porter Justin, the linebacker at Southern Cal. And a little further down that list, coming in at number 14, we got to get out of here for this break, is Dexter Lawrence. I'll tell you what they said about Big Dex when we get back here on the show that shakes the Southland, Clemson Sports Talk.
For 28 years, the professional staff of the Hobbs Group and Hobbs Group Advisors has been dedicated to helping others achieve their financial goals by delivering quality, objective financial and accounting solutions to a diverse client base of individuals and businesses all over South Carolina. We offer tax and audit services, bookkeeping, payroll, litigation support, employee benefits, personal financial planning, investment management, and insurance services. Please call us at 803-799-0555 or visit our website, hobbscpa.com, to learn more about our people and services.
services.
Tiger fans, look no further than the Tiger Sports Shop in Clemson for all your game day gear. Since 1974, they brought you everything Clemson for the Clemson fan, with quality brand names such as Nike, Under Armour, Antigua, Ping, and many more. From hats to t-shirts to tailgate, the Tiger Sports Shop has all the Clemson apparel a true Tiger fan needs. With 2 convenient game day locations in Tigertown, shop where I shop at I Am Ibrahim's Tiger Sports Shop. They fuel the passion of Tiger fans everywhere. Check them out online, tigersports.com.
Ready to get more calls for your business? It's easy. If a listener doesn't have a way to write down the number or website in your ad, when they hear your ad using pound 250, all they need to remember is the keyword mentioned in your ad. Then on their mobile phone, they'll dial pound 250 and say the keyword when prompted. It's fast, easy, and they'll be directed immediately to your company. Pound 250 only at iHeart Media. All they need to remember is your keyword. So if you're interested in using pound 250 for your business, please call 803-343-1100. Call and ask about pound 250 today.
When you have a need for a plumber, you need it fast and you need it done right. If you're dealing with busted pipes, maybe you need your toilet repaired or you're battling a clogged drain, break free from average service and experience the best with Freedom Plumbing. Call James Carwell and the staff at Freedom Plumbing to get the job done fast, on time, and most importantly, right the first time. Freedom Plumbing, your local 24-hour plumber. Call 803-447-0471 or online at freedom-plumbing.com.
This weekend, every drop of paint at the Home Depot has even better coverage. Thanks to red, white, and blue savings of $10 off 1-gallon cans and $40 off 5-gallon buckets. That means more paint for less money, so you can cover more walls, more rooms, and more of your budget than ever before. So, how's that for great coverage? Unbelievable quality, unbeatable prices. Red, white, and blue savings now at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only, valid through July 5th.
Welcome back to Clemson Sports Talk, your iHeart Radio home for the 2016 College Football National Champion, Clemson Tigers.
Clemson Sports Talk, Lawton Swan have the Platters in the background as we make our way towards July. Just one more month of beach music hits here for you. Then you know we get it started back with the college football. Woo, it's going to be here before you know it. I mentioned before the break the 17 freakishly gifted athletes of 2017. According to the NFL.com, again, the most freakish of them all. Clemson Tiger Christian Wilkins. Well, a little further down that list, he's quite amazing to watch play. And I know our good buddy Zach Lentz had a photo that he posted on social media the other day of this individual just skying. I don't even know another way to really put it. By the way, follow Zach on Twitter at Zach Lentz CST. Skying through the air, and that was Dexter Lawrence. If Christian Wilkins is number one in 2017 on this list, you'd imagine Dexter Lawrence will find his way into the top 5, maybe number one next year of the top 18 and 18. Right now, though, they've got him at number 14. They say a year ago, Lawrence looked like a seasoned senior in dominating ACC offensive lines as a true freshman. They go on to say it's no wonder that he was difficult for them to handle at 340 pounds. He's been clocked by the school running a 4.940. But speed isn't his game. Power is. And his weight room prowess is incredible for a player who has at least 2 years of college football left to play. He already reps 225 on the bench 31 times, can squat 550 pounds, and cleans 350 pounds. And when you think about these two mountainous members of Clemson's defensive front going heads up against offensive lines this year in 2017, you can't help but imagine what havoc they can wreak. And if you think about football for a minute, I think many of us, myself included, and even I would argue some of the best experts in the sports game tend to fall in love with the guys who are making interceptions, tend to fall in love with the guys who are being disruptive and sometimes, much like offensive linemen, defensive linemen, especially the interior defensive linemen, can go a bit unnoticed. Their work is done, like a guy like Saragusa in the NFL or Vince Wilfork. Their work is done, and certainly they make plays, but the majority of what they do is occupy space and create opportunities for linebackers and other individuals on the defensive front. Well, with these two guys, if you double team Dexter Lawrence, which is what I assume most teams are going to do, you're really putting whoever is one-on-one with Christian Wilkins in a terrible spot. I mean, it's an absolute horrible position to put anybody in. And because of that fact, now for Clemson, that enhances what the ends can do in Austin Bryant and Cleveland Farrell. Because you get the feeling that there's going to have to be some level of additional help for a one-on-one matchup with Christian Wilkins. And you can see how the nightmare is working from the outside or from the inside out, more so with this Clemson Tiger team. And for those of you that say, well, what about last year? What about last year? Oh, listen, there was nothing wrong with Carlos Watkins lining up right there beside Dexter Lawrence or having a Scott Pagano there on the interior of that defensive front getting after it. And even with Christian Wilkins on the outside last season, it was still a very hostile and threatening defensive front. But now you move these two guys to the interior, and you really, really start disrupting things in the middle of the field. You really start to eliminate any belly runs or anything that a team tries to do right there in the middle. Those gaps are going to be full. Those gaps are going to be full like the stomachs of these two guys are probably on a Friday night, because they're husky. Those two guys are scary. And to think that number 2 on that list was a kid that was probably just a hair away from becoming the Clemson Tiger, and Rashawn Gary just, again, accentuates the point of how good Clemson has done out on the recruiting trail. 803-978-1832. That's the number. If you want to text us, you can, thanks to our friends at the Ocean Reef Resort. The text line number, 803-450-0086. 803-450-0086. And again, you can always be a part of the program over on ClemsonSportsTalk.com. Click join the conversation. I hope you're having a good Friday. You probably have big plans coming up for the 4th of July weekend. I know it's going to be an incredible few days for so many people, again, celebrating the United States of America and our fine country and everything that it was founded upon and everything that, that we still hold true in terms of the core values of our sacred nation. So enjoy that time with your family. Again, I'll be off the air all of next week. I feel compelled to tell you that, but I know most of you already knew that. We're off all next week, so it'll be vacation. There won't be any Clemson Sports Talk here, and I do that strategically. I do that strategically in a lot of respects, because some people would say, well, why don't you just have somebody fill in for you? And maybe one day when I'm the new Colin Cowherd of sports radio and I'm coast to coast, around the globe, you're listening to me. And I know you are now on the iHeart Radio app, but I'm saying when the brand is bigger, when the brand is one where there's nowhere to go when you go away. For example, if I go away, there's national programming available. But when your brand is national, there's nothing to go to when you're not there. They're not just going to plug in a local guy in every market to fill those hours. But on a day or a week like next week, 4th of July, we typically take the entire week off. And since I have that luxury, I challenge you to take a step away too. Enjoy the time with your family. So many of you, both men and women, tune into this program from 6 to 8 p.m. throughout the year, 52 weeks a year, 5 nights a week. Take this week and spend it with family. Spend it with friends. Spend it doing things that you don't typically have time to do in the evenings. If you're a podcast listener and you listen while you're at work, I guess you can grind a little harder on the day job. Don't find the podcast to replace us. How about we'll ask you to do that or not do that? Don't find the podcast to replace us. But, yeah, we are absolutely thankful for the opportunity that we have here in the United States of America to do this show. And I'm even, more thankful for the fact that you take time out to just be with me here each and every day. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832 is the number. We'd love to have you be a part of the show anytime, any place, anywhere over on our website, ClemsonSportsTalk.com. When we get back, an NFL player, a very famous, as a matter of fact, NFL player, may have a bit of an issue upcoming from his airness. That's right, Michael Jordan. We'll tell you who that player is and why he and the Nike brand are having a bit of a bit of a disagreement, if you will. And the funny thing about this is this player actually wears Nike. I'll tell you who when we return. Stay with us here on Fox Sports Radio and iHeart Radio.
Do you want a pharmacy that treats you like a person and not just a number? Then let Craig and Lori at Southlake Drug show you what a pharmacy should be. Fast, friendly, and professional. Southlake Drug can transfer your prescriptions and take the hassle out of getting your medicine and getting you on your way. Southlake Drug takes all major insurance programs, including Medicare, Medicaid, and state employees, and they provide immunization services, including flu shots with no wait and no appointment. Southlake Drug, 1856 Southlake Drive in the Food Line Shopping Center, 399-7701, or southlakedrug.com.
The Midland's Ultimate Summer Camp Guide, brought to you by the YMCA, is here. Log on to foxsportsradio1400.com now and search camp. For a summer they won't forget, go to foxsportsradio1400.com now to see the Midland's Ultimate Summer Camp Guide, brought to you by the YMCA.
Are you a business owner looking to add high-quality staff members? ProRecruits.net is the answer. Here's why ProRecruits.net is better than their competition. ProRecruits.net will guarantee their sales hires for 6 months, or they will replace them for free. ProRecruits.net is also locally owned and has lower pricing compared to the typical new hire contingency fees in the industry. ProRecruits.net offers a tremendous value for your recruiting dollars. Call Chris today at 704-737-9970 and let ProRecruits.net help your business grow.
Cottingham Family Dentistry is proud to announce the opening of their new office located at 3722 Devine Street, and they're welcoming new patients. What makes Cottingham Family Dentistry different? It's in the name, family. They will cater to your needs and the dental needs of your children. Cottingham Family Dentistry offers same-day crowns, dental implants, cosmetic dentistry, including whitening, veneers, and tooth-colored fillings, and many other dental services. If you're searching for an amazing dental home, call 776-4234 or stop by their new office at 3722 Devine Street and become a part of the family at Cottingham Family Dentistry.
Tonight, expect showers and storms off and on pretty much all night. The lows will dip to the mid-70s. Tomorrow, we will see some sun, but watch out for some late storms. The highs, low to mid-90s. For Channel 25, ABC Columbia, I'm Chief Meteorologist John Farley.
This report is brought to you by South Carolina Department of Corrections.
The South Carolina Department of Corrections is looking for male and female registered nurses and LPNs statewide. Benefits include annual and sick leave, medical, vision, and dental insurance, weekend premium pay, great state benefits. For more info, visit doc.sc.gov.
With so many music apps out there, ever wonder which one is the best? It's iHeartRadio. Not because we say so, because you do.
iHeartRadio!
iHeartRadio is the #1 rated music app in America. It's the only one with live radio, artist stations, and an unlimited selection of music. All in one app. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free. Download the free iHeartRadio app or listen at iHeartRadio.com.
Follow Clemson Sports Talk on Twitter at Clemson Sports. Now more of Clemson Sports Talk. Take it away, Dad.
Coming up tonight on the show that shakes the Southland, Clemson Sports Talk, we'll be joined by our own Zach Lentz Going to give him a call at 7 o'clock. We'll ask him how the mailbag went. It's a new feature that we've put together. Zach's going to be doing a lot of different work for us here at Clemson Sports Talk. We're so thankful to have him be a part of the show, and so thankful to have you all be a part of it as well. One of the things, though, that we're really trying to do is expand the web presence and expand the opportunity for you to hear what our brand has to say about the things going on in the world of Clemson sports. So, again, the website is clemsonsportstalk.com. It is going to be refreshed. If you go over there today and you go, Swan, looks like you need to update, don't worry, that's coming. We are in the midst of getting the updates squared away. Click join the conversation, though, and you can be a part of our Slack channel. It's beautiful. It's mobile. It's on your phone. It's easy. There's a slight learning curve, but it's not much. It's a like-minded community. It's like, I would say it's a combination of a live message board, forum, whatever you want to call it, and Twitter all in one, but it's people talking about what you want to talk about. And it is monitored, and that's great. So it's not just the Wild West of social media. I think you'll love it. ClemsonSportsTalk.com. Click join the conversation. If you do that, we're giving away some Clemson Sports Talk gear, our new Champions T-shirts that we just recently got made, and we will give those away on June the 12th. That's the day we are hoping to drop the new website. So that's something that we've got cooking for you. But cooking in the NFL is the story about Rob Gronkowski, Gronk, his new logo, and Nike having a bit of an issue with its similarity to the famous Jumpman logo, which is, of course, modeled after Michael Jordan. Now, the Jordan brand Jumpman logo has been used since 1987. So nearly 30 years now of the Jumpman logo. And it is iconic. It is recognizable. And it is, in some respects, Michael Jordan. I mean, that's where it's put itself. Well, Rob Gronkowski's new trademark that they filed for with the trademark office is a picture of Rob Gronkowski, who is known to spike a football. It is a silhouette of Gronkowski spiking a football. His legs are spread. His arm is up in the air holding a football, and you could tell it's shaped like a football. And his other arm is off to the side. Now, is it similar to the Jordan brand logo? Yes. In fact, if Gronkowski's logo were mirrored, if it were a reflection of what you see, it would be very similar to Michael Jordan's logo, but I would not call it identical in any means. But there will be a debate moving forward to see who's going to, if Gronk Nation, I guess is the name of his company, will actually be able to use this logo for their clothing and exercise equipment. His team has until August 5th to respond or risk abandoning the filing for this trademark. Gronkowski's lawyer says, my client has created one of the most recognizable brands in sports today. We're very proud of this brand and are optimistic that we will have this resolved with Nike, and we will resolve this with Nike amicably. Gronkowski, again, as I mentioned before the break, actually wears Nike cleats on the field. So, kind of a unique situation for Gronk. He's being paid by the group that are trying to stop him from using a logo that is similar to a logo that the group who is paying him owns. David D23 over on social media says, how many sports does the Jordan brand support now? It's a great question. I know that North Carolina is going to begin wearing the Michael Jordan brand. I know that Michigan has already started wearing the Michael Jordan brand, and I'm talking about the football teams, not just the basketball team. I kind of thought that Clemson would have been, and I think really anybody would be wise to make a move like this, simply because even after 30 years and even after Michael Jordan's been retired for many years, that brand is still so recognizable. the shoes are still the hip thing to have. I mean, if you're wearing Jordans still in 2017, that's a big deal. Somebody sees your shoes, they go, are those Jordans? Look at you, Swanee, rocking those Jordans. And because of that fact, I think that it is so popular and so well thought of amongst the youth in our country and recruits that you're going after. I think it's a marketable thing to have. I think it's worth it. Instead of being Nike, to be Jordan with the Jumpman logo. And if I had the weight to say, hey, Dan Radakovich, let's make this happen, I'd snap my fingers and make it happen right now. Not only do I think it would benefit the football team, I think the basketball team's brand would be significantly enhanced by being a part of the Jumpman brand. Now, the question you have is, and occasionally with situations like this, Jumpman will have an alternative group of people who design uniforms and all of that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Occasionally, maybe the better designers are there. I don't know, but what you can run into, and some people will like this and some people won't, is that your uniforms might not be similar to what other people are wearing. And I'm not telling you that being similar is great, but I do think there is something about continuity for the visual field of human beings. And if you're accustomed, it's kind of like, remember a couple of years ago when Clemson wore those, I want to call them the Nike Combat uniforms, and they had just a little different look on the pants. The stripes were a little bit different. It was, I know one of the games that we wore them for sure was in the matchup against South Carolina here, where the Gamecocks and Stephen Garcia and that bunch knocked off the Clemson Tigers over in Williams-Brice Stadium. C.J. Spiller had the opening kickoff return for a touchdown. That was about the end of Clemson's good day. Jamie Harper put the biscuit on the ground. Stephon Gilmore came in, led the Gamecocks down the field to a touchdown. I don't remember the final score in that game. I think that was, 2009? I think that was the 2009 year. Clemson had the Orange Bowl. No, Clemson had the ACC championship game looming against Georgia Tech back in 2009. I'm fairly certain that was what year that was. But anyway, it had to be. But when you think about those pants, you saw them and you're like, yeah, they look a little different, a little something different. It wasn't a huge change, but it was something different. And I think sometimes continuity is a good thing. And with the Jumpman brand, there's not a lot of people wearing it. And I don't know what those uniforms would look like theoretically, but I think that's something that might bother some people. But David D., I'm not sure. He's over in our chat room on our Slack channel. You can get there by going to ClemsonSportsTalk.com and clicking join the conversation. It's on the left side. Click join the conversation on ClemsonSportsTalk.com. Zach Lentz coming up at hour 2. Stay with us here. 3-minute break.
For 28 years, the professional staff of the Hobbs Group and Hobbs Group Advisors has been dedicated to helping others achieve their financial goals by delivering quality, objective financial and accounting solutions to a diverse client base of individuals and businesses all over South Carolina. We offer tax and audit services, bookkeeping, payroll, litigation support, employee benefits, personal financial planning, investment management, and insurance services. Please call us at 803-799-0555 or visit our website, hobbscpa.com, to learn more about our people and services.
Hi, I'm Alicia Kaufman Quinton. My daddy, Billy Kaufman, opened Kaufman's Meat Plant at our present location in 1955. My family still works hard every day to ensure fresh quality cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. How about a tasty T-bone, ribeye, or New York strip steak? But to order at Kaufman's Meat and Place. Just look for the signs near the intersection of US 1 and I-20 in Lexington. Call us at 356-0076 to place your order. Kaufman's Meat and Place, when you want the very best your money can buy.
Looking to get away without having to spend a whole day traveling to your destination? Ocean Reef Resort offers 1, 2, 3, and 4-bedroom accommodations with the comforts of home and boasts the best oceanfront views. Swim in their sparkling indoor and outdoor pools, relax in their hot tubs, try out the Adventure Oasis pool with adult-sized water slide, or just float down the 250-foot lazy river. Visit us at oceanreefmyrtlebeach.com or call us at 1-866-935-0530 to learn more.
For more information about contests on this station, go to foxsportsradio1400.com/rules. Welcome back to Clemson Sports Talk, your iHeart Radio home for the Clemson Tigers, winners of the 2017 National Championship game.
Well, that is definitely not your mama's beach music hits, I can tell you that. 803-978-1832, Clemson Sports Talk, Lawton Swan. I guess I'm asleep at the wheel. I don't know how I missed that. Earlier today, had a chance to listen to my good buddy, Tom Luganville. Tom was co-hosting over on Sirius XM. Had to get some new tires put on the vehicle. Well, the wife's vehicle. So got up early, went out and about. Of course, I was sitting in the tire store, and I was like, okay, what am I going to do with myself? Oh, I know. I'll listen to some Sirius XM because I can stream it and just see what's going on. And Tom was on, and love the work that Tom Luganville does for ESPN, and he's a great friend of this program. And I heard Tom say that, you know, on Clemson's quarterback situation, if you had the opportunity to watch a Clemson practice and look at the three quarterbacks competing for the job, you'd feel really good about where Clemson is, where Clemson's at under center. And he did go on to say, you know, even though he's kind of been in that camp of where I've been with Zerrick Cooper, thinking that he's probably of the three guys right now that are really tabbed to get an opportunity, Kelly Bryant, Zerrick Cooper, and Hunter Johnson currently on campus. And I know Tucker Israel's there, and again, I'm not ashamed to say Tucker Israel performed better than anybody else in the spring game. I don't think it was even close. I thought Tucker was the best-looking quarterback out there. Now, I wasn't overly impressed with Tucker Israel by any means, but he looked better than everybody else. Tom Luganville still feels like, even though he really likes Zerrick Cooper, he thinks Hunter Johnson is going to end up being the guy for Clemson at some point in 2017, sooner probably rather than later, simply because Dabo Swinney and this coaching staff learned something valuable back in 2014 when they were not willing to allow Deshaun Watson to be the starter in Athens, in Tallahassee. And because of that fact, you could argue Clemson lost those two games. I mean, you could realistically believe, and I don't think it's too far-fetched to think that if Deshaun Watson starts and plays the entire game in Athens, Clemson might win that game. I know the final score was 45-21, but I'm not so sure that Deshaun Watson wouldn't have been good enough to win that game for Clemson had he had the keys to the Ferrari the entire time. Now, Clemson played the following week against SC State, and that wasn't even it was no competition at all. And then you go to Florida State, and at that point, the coaching staff finally admitted, after Cole Stout was less than stellar early on, that, you know what, they had to ride Deshaun Watson. They had to ride DW4. And even though Clemson lost that game in overtime, they went on the following week to score 50 points against North Carolina, 41 against NC State. They beat Louisville 23-17. Of course, Watson does get hurt and then ends up coming back and then getting hurt again in the Georgia Tech game, but then coming back and playing against South Carolina to break South Carolina's 5-game winning streak against the Clemson Tigers. And then you get Cole Stout. You talk about a season that was kind of up and down, but then you get Cole Stout in the Russell Athletic Bowl against Oklahoma, and Clemson and a brand-new coordinating staff after Chad Morris leaves. You bring in also former Clemson Tiger quarterback and you know, maybe I guess maybe Brandon Streeter. We may need to wait and see. It may still be a little wait-and-see approach with Brandon Streeter. He's had a pretty good guy to work with for a couple of years there at Clemson now. But all in all, Luganville believes, and I think many of you believe, and rightfully so, that Clemson learned a valuable lesson, and Dabo Swinney learned a valuable lesson that you have to play the best player, and you cannot in any circumstance allow your judgment to be impaired by the seniority, the amount of playing time somebody has over someone else, anything like that. It's got to be who's the best. Because even though Dabo Swinney would say we feel like Cole Stout gives us the best chance to win, I don't know if deep down he believed that, and I'm fairly certain that just wasn't a fact. He may have believed it, but it was not accurate in the least. The player that gave you the best chance to win in Athens, the best chance to win in Tallahassee, was not named Cole Stout. It flat out wasn't. And you look at that team, and you look at that season, and those 3 losses. Again, even if you lose at Georgia in the opener, if Watson plays the full game at Florida State and Watson had the keys to the ignition in Athens in the opener on August 30th, I have no hesitation or reservation to believe that game on September 20th in Tallahassee goes differently. At that point, Watson is a different player 3 games into his college career, even with a loss in the opener. And then we know what happened at Bobby Dodd Stadium when Watson went out. The Tigers were driving to go up double digits on Georgia Tech, only to have Cole Stout throw a pick 6. He throws another interception later in that game, gets away from him. But if Watson's healthy and plays in that game, there's Clemson, you could make the argument, and I think it's a fair, rational argument, that in Deshaun Watson's time at Clemson, had he quarterbacked every single game possible, and that includes 13 games in 2014, the Tigers lose what? 4 games total in 3 years? And they lost 3 games that season. I think the Georgia one's probably the only one they lose if Watson's 1, healthy, and 2, plays every snap in Athens. Whether they win or lose that game may have been insignificant at that point. Clemson would have run out and finished the year with 1 loss. Maybe you're in the first rendition of the college football playoff. Crazy to believe that, but that's how good Watson is, and because of that fact, or that's how good he was, he still is. But Tom Luganville feels like the guys Clemson has there now are all good. The Tigers are in good shape. At Shadow of Death Valley, wrong tweet here. Jay at CFBJ says, good morning. So Jay was feeling good about that situation and about that tweet that we put out from what Tom Luganville had to say about this situation at Clemson in terms of the quarterback situation. D-Mo comes in strong. He says, game 2, we'll find out, War Eagle. So D-Mo, a Auburn guy, peeking over the fence on social media. John Steele says, it sounds like a crowded backfield. Good problem to have. Says they wonder which school will benefit from when the loser of the quarterback battle decides to move on. Not to mention you got a guy like Trevor Lawrence who's right now out the opening tearing it up. That's why we tried to get Michael Felder on earlier. The opening is quite the showcase, and Felder is one of the best in the business at watching and evaluating these high school kids out at the opening. At Clem Tiger fan says, I was at the spring game and I didn't feel really comfortable with our quarterback situation. I know it was only the spring game. That, my friends, is what we call a retweetable offense here on Clemson Sports Talk. Love any hot takes like that coming across. We've also got a couple here for you in terms of other people talking about Tom Luganville's comments. At FenceBuster19 says, yes, we have been feeling good for some time. and it will only get better next year with Trevor Lawrence coming in. That's another outstanding point, and one of the things that will be unique to watch for Clemson. And Luganville also said this about Clemson. It's incredible how good Clemson's evaluations have been at quarterback and how well they've done to bring in the guys that they've wanted. And to get the number 1 rated quarterback in back-to-back classes is tremendous. And all of that off of the heels of a kid like Deshaun Watson being at your school. Not to mention now the emphasis that Clemson's put on the defensive side of the ball. It has been quite the run for the Tigers, and with great quarterbacks typically comes great success on the field. We'll see if that continues to translate for the Tigers. Hour number 2 of the program right around the bend. Zach Lentz at Zach Lentz CST on Twitter joins us. Stay with us.
Love it raw? For the freshest sushi in town, Sakatumi Grill and Sushi Bar, 807 Gervais Street in the Vista. Sakatumi's flavorful grill for non-sushi fans features the Kobe burger, filet and lobster, chicken hibachi, and more. Fresh sushi, flavorful grill, Sakatumi Grill and Sushi Bar, sakifresh.com.
Our customers receive the best heating and air conditioning service in South Carolina. Hi, I'm Tim Mosley, and I can make that statement because that's what our customers tell us every day. We call it quality confirmed. Call us at 803-233-7172, and we'll call you when the job is done to confirm we met your expectations. That's quality confirmed. We're Carolina Conditions, and we're committed to meeting your expectations. 803-233-7172. Call us at 803-233-7172.
Tiger fans, look no further than the Tiger Sports Shop in Clemson for all your game day gear. Since 1974, they brought you everything Clemson for the Clemson fan, with quality brand names such as Nike, Under Armour, Antigua, Ping, and many more. From hats to t-shirts to tailgate, the Tiger Sports Shop has all the Clemson apparel a true Tiger fan needs. With 2 convenient game day locations in Tigertown, shop where I shop at I Am Ibrahim's Tiger Sports Shop. They fuel the passion of Tiger fans everywhere. Check them out online, tigersports.com.
You're on Pit Stop Radio, and here's what real customers have to say about their pit stop.
I'm a machine operator. I come to Pit Stop about once a week. I normally get gas, and I play the lottery and get some scratch-offs. I did know it was locally owned, and that I hear the commercials on the radio all the time. Well, yeah, I like dealing with the local establishments. Oh, yeah, they're very nice, excellent service.
Want convenience without compromise?
Don't stop till you're at Pit Stop.
Southeastern Foundation and Crawlspace. Start at the bottom.
Get to the bottom of your foundation issues. Cracks in your walls, a moldy smell? Call Southeastern Foundation and Crawlspace Repair to get a free diagnosis and solution. They'll solve your foundation issues at the best price possible. Call 866-668-7335. 866-668-7335.
Southeastern Foundation and Crawlspace.
And online
Start at the bottom.
at sefoundations.com.
Uncle Dan?
Mom? Dad?
If you store your guns properly, so not just anyone can get to them.
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside. Safer when walking home.
Safer when my friends come over. As your neighbor, I'll feel safer.
As a school teacher, I'll feel safer.
We'll all feel safer.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Remember, always lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Families affected by disasters urgently need support. Help the American Red Cross provide meals and shelter to those affected by disasters, big and small. Donate to Red Cross Disaster Relief. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS.
From the E.F. Martin Heating and Air Studios, this is Fox Sports Radio 1400, WCOS Columbia. Available anywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app.
Fox Sports Trending now.
The Chicago Bulls waived guard Rajon Rondo today. He was due to make over $13 million next season if he was still on Chicago's roster after today. Atlanta waived forward Mike Dunleavy Jr., Philadelphia waived guard Gerald Henderson, and Minnesota agreed to a trade with Utah, sending guard Ricky Rubio there. Minnesota gets a first-rounder next year and cap space. NBA free agents can start negotiating tonight after midnight Eastern when the league year begins. With TrueCar, you can find out what other people in your area paid for the same car you're looking for, new or used. Visit TrueCar to enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Tonight in Major League Baseball, all-night games, some about to begin. Not the one in Detroit. It's been rained out. Cleveland at Detroit, no game tonight. It'll be made up September 1st. Philadelphia, with the worst team in the majors, about to start up against the Mets. Phillies place Howie Kendrick on the DL. I'm Steve DeSager.
It's time for Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan.
Ready, set, just call me Swanee.
Tiger style. Tiger style.
It is hour number 2. That's Prime Time right here on Fox Sports Radio and iHeart Radio. Lawton Swan hanging out with you. Got my man, the 8-year-old Mason, in the building. He's over there watching YouTube videos or something, just chilling, probably watching old episodes of Clemson Sports Talk. If you didn't know, we broadcast those on YouTube as well, and you can watch them on our website, ClemsonSportsTalk.com, live right now on the front page. You go there, you'll see my ugly mug, but that's okay. You can stop looking and go to another page and just listen, or you can listen on iHeartRadio, or you can catch the podcast. However you want to be a part of the show, we give you a multitude of ways to do that, and we are so thankful to have Zach Lentz coming on board to help us out with some of that. Again, on Twitter, he's at Zach Lentz CST, and today, Zach, you hosted your first ever Clemson Sports Talk Friday mailbag. I thought it looked fantastic. I couldn't watch all of it, but, man, congratulations to you for pulling off a brand new venture with Clemson Sports Talk.
Yeah, it was fun. I had a few technical difficulties, but that's to be expected when you have a writer, venturing into the world of live video. I'm not the professional that you are, but I thought for a writer it went pretty good.
No, I thought it was great. As a matter of fact, the thing I really liked about it was that we gave people an opportunity to engage throughout the week, and really kind of on short notice you got a lot of that information. But then in doing so, I think a lot of people were introduced to it. I don't know how many people ended up watching it on your first time, but I saw nearly 30-some-odd people in there before I flipped it off, so I know it was going pretty well.
Yeah, I think at our high point we had about 120 active viewers. So, that's not a bad start there.
No, for day one, are you kidding me? Do you know how many people listened to the first podcast of Clemson Sports Talk? I tell you, it was like 2. It was like me and my wife.
Oh, but yeah, I'm excited. We got some big things coming down the pipe here.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if you want to join the conversation, go to ClemsonSportsTalk.com. Click on Join the Conversation and be a part of the program through our Slack channel. It's a lot of fun. You can engage with myself. You can engage with Zach Lowell, the interns, occasionally over there when he's not peddling barbecue and whatnot. But, Zach, when you look at the Clemson Tiger football team, earlier today I was listening to my good buddy Tom Luganbill. He was filling in over on Sirius XM, and one of the questions that he was asked was, to kind of address Clemson and their quarterback situation. And basically, and I'll paraphrase this for you, he said, look, they're in a great situation. If anybody has been to their practice and have seen these 3 guys during the spring preparing for the season, the Tigers are in a great spot. How do you feel about where Clemson is? And I know you probably talked a little bit about maybe some of these type things on the mailbag today, but, where do you think Clemson is? Because there's still a lot of questions, but do you still feel like they're in a good situation nonetheless?
Yeah, I do. I saw your tweet, about what Tom Luganbill said, and here's the thing. I think people get too wrapped up. I saw a couple of responses. I was at the spring game and they didn't look good. Or I was at the spring game and I saw this. The spring game doesn't mean anything. I mean, you've got mixed O-lines trying to block for people. You got third-string wide receivers out there running routes. So the spring game is you got to take that out of the equation. But Clemson is in maybe the best situation they've ever been in terms of quarterback. I mean, the history of your program, you're looking at the greatest run of quarterbacks with Deshaun Watson, Hunter Johnson, Zarek Cooper, Kelly Bryant, Trevor Lawrence coming in next year. I mean, the plethora of talent that Clemson has amassed right now is really second to none in the nation. And when you think about this coming season, I know a lot of questions have been asked about Kelly Bryant. I'm going to tell you right now, I addressed this on the on our mailbag, and we'll retweet it out later. But from some of my sources I'm talking to up in Clemson, a guy that has made a huge push into catching coaches' eyes and possibly pushing for the starting job is Hunter Johnson, the true freshman. He has come on extremely fast and extremely strong this offseason. So it would not shock me in the least to see him get the start, because Dabo Swinney understands this season that his defense is good enough to get this team back to the playoffs. It's the offense that's going to have to hold up their end of the bargain. And I don't think he's going to let the mistakes made from 2014 in the Deshaun Watson, Cole Stout situation. I think he learned his lesson in how to handle a quarterback battle.
Well, and that's something I was just kind of touching on with people here, and I think that's interesting because I think your gut as a coach is to trust the guy that's been there, to trust the guy that's had more snaps, the guy that's had more opportunities maybe to be on the field and play in front of 80,000 people. But I think you saw pretty quickly that if Deshaun Watson had been given the keys in Athens, you may not have won that game, but maybe you win at Florida State. And if that happens and he doesn't get hurt, then it looked like you were going to win at Georgia Tech. You might be talking about a situation where Clemson had been to the college football playoff 3 consecutive years with Deshaun Watson at quarterback.
Absolutely. I can make an argument that instead of starting 1 and 2,